What's up, guys? It's Nick K. I wanted to make this video to provide some insight onto how I became the man I always truly knew I could become. I did this after experiencing great loss and losing all motivation. And so if you feel like you're stuck, lost, or just need some direction, you'll definitely want to stick around and watch this whole video. This video will be about 30 to 40 minutes long. It's cut dry, there's no edits, and there's no music. So if you're looking for a quick dopamine hit, this video is not for you. And honestly, if you can't watch the whole thing, you're probably not ready to transform and you're probably not ready to change your life. But if you are, just like the seasons changing behind me, if you're ready to make a change, definitely stick around and watch this whole video. And I'd recommend getting a pencil and a piece of paper because I'm about to be providing tons of value for free. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Today, I'll be breaking down my 3-step system I use to rebuild my body and my mind, even after suffering a great loss and losing all motivation. This is what I call the confidence code, and it's how I became the man I always knew I could be. So, how? How did I build this? Well, no one in my family really worked out. Everyone was just content with who they were. Everyone was okay, being regular, working their 9 to 5, doing average things, being average people. And honestly, I was the same for a while. However, I really wanted to play sports when I was younger. And so that caused me to, start being a hard worker because you can't be good at sports if you don't work hard. And so just off of that, I thought I was him because I was good at sports. But getting injured made me realize I really wasn't him and that I still wasn't satisfied with where I was at. And so, that being said, it took me years of trial and error to finally crack the code of becoming the man that I knew I was meant to be and how I could become the man that I knew I was meant to be. And so, in this video, I'll get into how you guys can do that. And so, who is this video for? This video is for anyone who's fallen off or never truly locked in and people that are ready to rebuild themselves. It's also for if you feel stuck in the same body, the same mindset, and the same routines and know that you're capable of more. It's also for you if you are tired of chasing motivation and finally want to build structure, strength, and confidence. And it's also for you if you're ready to stop talking about change and finally live that change. And so, who is this video not for? This video is not for you if you're looking for shortcuts, quick fixes, or secret hacks. This video is also not for you if you blame time, genetics, or circumstances instead of taking responsibility. Because at a certain point, man, we all have to grow up. We're no longer little kids who have to blame our parents or blame where we live or blame any of that stuff. If you're watching this, you're a grown man, you're over 18, and you have the ability to take control of your own life. This video is also not for you if you care about being motivated more than you care about being consistent. Now, we all need motivation here and there, but motivation should not be our baseline. It should not be our go-to. Consistency should be our go-to and our baseline. And lastly, this video is not for you if you're not ready to hold yourself to a higher standard, because that's exactly what this video is going to teach you. This video is going to teach you as an individual how to hold yourself to a higher standard so that you can better yourself and better your life. Okay, now here's the truth about building a body and a mindset that actually lasts. It's that most men don't need information because honestly, everybody has the internet, everybody has social media, and so everybody has a world full of information. In fact, I honestly think there's too much information out there because for a lot of people, for a lot of individuals, it can be overbearing most of the time. And so, what people really need, what men really need, is direction because discipline isn't complicated, it's just uncomfortable. And so, with this with this program, with this system, it helps you become comfortable being uncomfortable because that's what people are missing. You need to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations for yourself to thrive sometimes. And so, discipline isn't a mood, it's a muscle. And just like any other muscle, you build it through repetition, not motivation. You know, structure creates freedom. When you plan your days, your body follows those days. And that also allows you to have more freedom in your days when you can structure it out and you know everything you're doing, because that opens up time for you to do other things. And also, consistency is confidence. Consistency is confidence. Write that down. I told you guys to have a pencil and a paper. So if you do, or if you don't, if you're on your phone and you have notes, write that down, dude. Consistency is confidence. Every rep, every choice, that's how you earn confidence, because you're confident in your ability to do it. When you see LeBron James playing and you put that bet on him, why are you so confident in him? Because you know that man has been dropping points, dropping rebounds, getting assists, going crazy in the league for 20 plus years. You know if that man steps on the court, he's going to score a minimum of 10 points. You know if that man steps on the court, he's going to grab a minimum of 5 rebounds. Why? Because he's the GOAT, and he's been the GOAT. You're confident in the GOAT because he's consistently been the GOAT. And so, to the next point, your physique is proof of your standards. If you raise your physique, you simultaneously will raise your standards and everything else with them. And that's the thing that most men don't know or don't figure out. But don't worry, I'm not going to let that happen to you. Again, there's no such thing as being undisciplined. Like, just think about it. Think about how disciplined you are in other aspects of your life. Say, you hit that snooze button on your alarm every single morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're programmed to do that. You're programmed to say an extra 5 minutes, extra 10 minutes. You scroll on your phone every night when you get off of work, every night when you get home from school. Because why? You're disciplined in doing that. You're programmed in doing that. And you put off things for a week, telling yourself you're going to start tomorrow or you're going to start Monday, but you never do, because you're disciplined yourself to put stuff off, to put it off on the back burner instead of doing it when it needs to be done. And so the problem isn't that you lack discipline. The problem is that you're consistent with the wrong habits. And that's the thing, the greatest men, the awesomest men, the best men, the most successful men, the most wealthy men don't struggle with. They don't struggle with being consistent in the wrong habits. They're consistent in the right habits. And so if you want that person to be you, the person who's consistent in the right habits, I'll show exactly how to do that. How to rebuild your body and your mindset so that you can finally be consistent, confident, and unstoppable. How to burn fat and pack on muscle while you still eat what you want. With this code, with this system, you do not have to starve yourself. You do not have to be clean eating obsessed if you're cutting. All you have to do is be in a calorie deficit. That means you can still eat what you want with no starvation, just eating at a lower caloric intake. And I'll also teach you how to look and feel like the best version of yourself. This is just not for summer, dude, but this is for life. You will look like and feel like the best version of yourself for life, forever, if you put these steps into play and do this system the correct way. And also, lastly, how to develop bulletproof discipline that bleeds into every area of your life. This discipline will flow from the gym into your relationships and beyond, even into your careers, to where when you're showing up to work, your boss or your, assistants, anybody under you is like, oh, wow, that dude's never missing a day. That dude's never missing a beat because he's consistent, he's disciplined, and they'll want to be like you. And so, if you're wondering, why to believe this guy, we don't know this guy. Here's a brief background, brief backstory about me and how I got here. Again, like I said, I'd always, wanted to play sports. Even when I didn't play sports growing up, I always, was like, I want to do something like fun or do something cool. And, sports were that. So I'd always been driven for a really long time. Like, as you can see, this is me in this picture. Like, I think this is my second year. I think this is my second or third year of playing football. I think I started playing football in like fourth or fifth grade, and this is me. This is me in eighth grade, so either my third or fourth year playing football, and I'm wearing a single digit. If you know about sports, if you're rocking a single digit, you're decent. Usually they don't give bums single digits. Sometimes they do, but I was decent. Go look. We can look up the film later if you want. But anyway, so for a long time, I had been driven and like hard working, but that drive, it had no direction. Like I was just working hard, but like I had no real plan and no real purpose. And so I actually tore my ACL this same year, the year that I'm wearing number 8, the year that I had that single digit. I actually tore my ACL. And that was one of the best things to ever happen to me because when I got injured, it made me, look at myself in the mirror and say, wow, I'm not the fast kid anymore. Because that's really what it was. I was just outrunning everybody. I was the fast kid. And I'm like, wow, now I'm not fast. And so who am I? I had to refine myself. And so through years of trial and error, rebuilding myself physically and mentally, I, you know, I found it out. I stopped chasing those like quick fixes, those perfect programs, because I used to do that, but none of that stuff would last, dude. And it's because I hadn't built those habits or that mindset. You know what I'm saying? But when I did build that habit and that mindset, I realized and I was actually able to transform because transformation isn't just about training harder. It's about learning discipline, learning structure, and taking control of every aspect of your life. That's how I went from this skinny kid to this jack dude over here because I got discipline, I got structure, and I have control of my life. So now I control every aspect of it. And honestly, that's what made me create this system. That's what made me create this blueprint for building strength, confidence, and identity from the inside out. And so I call it the confidence code. It's the exact system that I used to build myself through years of trial and error based on real experiences, not hype. This is a system that combines fat loss, muscle growth, and mental discipline because mental discipline is so important, dude. Like your brain controls your body. I'll say that again. Mark down how many times I say that because I bet I say it a lot. And so you can build a mind and body that look both powerful and feel powerful. And the thing is, you can do that, but a lot of people make mistakes when doing that. It takes years. Again, like I said, it takes years. So I don't want you guys to take years. I want you guys to watch this video and take minutes. And so that's why I'm going to break it all down for you guys. And I'm going to do it all for free. I'm going to break it all down for you for free. So stick around for the rest of this video so you can figure out how to become that man that you truly want to be for yourself. Okay, so in these next following steps, I'm going to outline the entire process, the whole thing from A to Z that I use to rebuild my mental and physical health so that you can use this system, this code to look strong, feel strong, all while simultaneously moving through life with complete and utter confidence. So, how do I break down this system? How do I break down the confidence code that will help you take control of your body, your habits, and your confidence? First things first, dude, we have to rebuild the foundation. We have to reshape your body and we have to reset your standard because if we're living in the past, we can't move on to the future. So, with this, the way we rebuild the foundation is by creating custom training and nutrition plans. With these, you'll be able to build strength, drop that fat, and create structure that fits your lifestyle, not the other way around. This is where your discipline starts to take place. It really does. The second phase of this program is rewiring your mindset. This is where we make consistency our default setting. Because again, like I said, consistency is confidence. The more consistent you are, the more confident you are. And so if we make consistency your default setting, that means confidence is coming with it. And with the second step, we will build and develop unbreakable habits through accountability, structure, and self-mastery. This is you doing it for yourself because you are the owner of your temple. You are the master of your temple. So you got to do some stuff for yourself, bro. And honestly, this second phase, it might be the most important. Even though building your foundation is so important, you have to think the right way, dude. Because you can really have a good body, you can build that foundation, but then, say like in a year or two, some stuff messes with your mind and messes you up, and then your whole foundation crumbles, dude. You have to build a strong foundation and stack on top of it. You have to rewire your mindset because your mind controls your brain. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your mind controls your body. And so this phase will help eliminate the on and off cycles and for good and replace them with lasting momentum. And so when we replace those on and off cycles, it's like we're not on and off. We're just on. We're just on from now on. We're only on. And so the last phase of this is to rise into control, man. To rise into control, to make confidence our baseline. Because by the end of this process, you'll not only look strong, but you'll feel unstoppable. So you'll look strong physically and you'll be strong mentally, dude. The whole package will be complete, and that will allow you to rise into the man that you're supposed to be. The discipline you will have built in the gym will spill over into your career and your relationship. In every part of your life, you'll feel complete and utter control of your mind and your body and everything else in your life, dude. Because the gains you build will be a part of you, not just physically, mentally as well. And then it'll spill into your careers when you go to the office, when you go to the job, when you go to wherever you work, they'll see it. In your relationships with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your mothers, with your kids. They will see that confidence. They will see that consistency and they will admire you because it's in every part of your life. And so now I'm going to show you how I optimize each phase of this system so that you can optimize it as well for yourself. And so you can finally build that muscle that you've been trying to build, lose that fat that you've been trying to lose, and develop an unbreakable confidence and discipline that makes results automatic for yourself. First steps first, you got to rebuild that foundation. First things first is, like I said, how do we rebuild, man? We've got to dial in nutrition. We've got to dial in nutrition because this is where everything starts. Food is our fuel. And so we will not be starving ourselves. If you're trying to lose fat, we will not be starving ourselves, but we will be learning how to we will learn how to fuel performance, not cravings. So we will see food as fuel, not cravings, not sweet treats, not desserts, not any of that stuff. Because this is our fuel. We have to add the right fuel in our tank for us to go. You can't, be driving a Lambo and put the regular gas in it. You've got to buy the 99. You got to buy the more expensive gas for the Lambo, or else the Lambo isn't going to run. You know what I'm saying? You have to put the right fuel into the right body if you want it to run. Like if you want your body to be a Toyota Camry from 2002, I mean, put the regular gas in it. But if you want your body to be a 2025 Lamborghini Aventador, have to put the expensive stuff in it. And so by that, we have to cut out processed foods, dude. No more McDonald's, no more Mountain Dew, no more Skittles and Kit Kats, no more Twizzlers, no more honey buns. We have to cut that stuff off because you can't rebuild your body on junk, dude. You cannot put cheap gas into an expensive car. It won't work. It won't work. It'll break down. It just will. So, to do that, cut out these processed foods and start eating eat whole single ingredient foods. These should become our new baseline. And so what I mean by whole, single ingredient foods, that's things like steak, chicken, beef, rice, pasta, green beans, corn. Like these are, not the greens and not the greens and corn, but those are good. I like those. But the steak and the chicken and the beef and the pot, these are caloric dense, whole grain foods that will help us feel full, so we are not constantly craving, other foods. Next, we will need to hit your daily protein goal. You need to hit your daily protein goal. Our daily protein targets are so important because proteins are the building blocks of muscles, dude. Proteins break down into amino acids, and amino acids are literally what build our muscles. So if we want to get strong muscles, if we want to look strong and feel strong, we have to be eating enough protein because protein also supports our recovery. So on those days that we feel tired, that protein will help us recover and get back to our final normal state. And so yeah, proteins just have to be the foundation for growth. Next, we'll also balance our carbs and fats strategically. So this means we're not cutting out carbs and we're not cutting out fats because we use these things for important mechanisms in our body. Carbs break down into glucose, and glucose is literally what we need to make ATP. ATP is our energy. If we don't have energy, we can't get up, we can't move, we can't go. That's like, again, no gas in the car. You need energy in the car to make it go. Or actually, the food will be the gas, and this will be the oil. Your car without oil, just giving you an example of like a car without oil, your car is gonna, the light's gonna beep, it's not gonna move. You're gonna have to take it in. So even though you have the gas in there, you got the food, you don't got the oil. That's like you just eating, grass and stuff. If you didn't put oil in your car, okay, you put the cheap gas into your Lamborghini, but now your Lamborghini has no oil. Now you have no carbs, because carbs support our energy. And now you have no fats. And fats are important for our hormones and our recovery as well. So fats and proteins are both really important for our recovery, because when we're lifting and we're doing a lot in life, we need to focus on recovery because that's super important. And so with our strategically balancing these carbs and fats, it's about it's about control. It's not about restriction. It's about controlling what we're eating and having a plan and being disciplined with it. And so the next thing that we have to do with dialing in our nutrition is staying consistent, not perfect. And so, what do I mean by this? I mean, progress doesn't come from one perfect day, it comes from stacking solid days. So, I mean, everybody has a life. Most people work. Some people have the privilege of doing things from home. But say you're somebody who has to work a 9 to 5, and then they keep you a little bit later. So you don't leave the office until maybe 7 or 8. And, you didn't meal prep how you're supposed to because you thought you were going to get off at 5 and then go home and meal prep. And so, what I mean by this is, no, we're not going to go to McDonald's. No, we're not going to Burger King, but we can choose a healthy option that provides high protein foods and good carbs and good fats. So maybe we choose, like, oh, we see a Chipotle on the way home at 8 p.m. and Chipotle doesn't close till 10. So it's like, okay, we can go to Chipotle and get a chicken bowl or a steak bowl because, these are good proteins. These are good carbs. These are good fats. These are good macros that they're not the perfect thing, because the perfect thing would have been if we went home and ate our steak and rice or our beef and rice. But again, life happens, and so we can't be perfect today, but we can stay consistent with the macros that we're eating. And so we go to Chipotle to get that chicken bowl, and that's good. And so we need to stack those days. Consistency, things will happen, things will arise, but as long as you're consistent and find a way, you will be okay. And so, for the last thing about our nutrition, again, we need to fuel ourselves to perform. We need to start seeing food as fuel. Food powers us. Food is not for cravings. Food is not for, oh, I want a chocolate cake. Oh, I want a Big Mac. Bro, food is for, like, I need some protein. I need a steak. It's like, oh, I'm about to go bench 225. I'm about to go bench 315. I need to eat some steak. I need to eat some steak the night before so that I'm fueled up. I need to eat, some healthy breads so that I have the carbohydrates. You know what I'm saying? I need to drink this protein shake so that I have the protein after the workout. You know what I'm saying? So every meal should be making us feel stronger, sharper, and not slower. We do not want to feel slow, dude. We want to be dialed in. Next, we have to lock in on training. Yes, training. Everybody loves training, dude. If you don't like to train, I don't even know why you watch this video, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You can just click out real quick because we have to train, bro. We have to fall in love with the process. People are too worried about the results and they don't fall in love with the process. That's why they're not consistent, and that's why they're not disciplined. You have to fall in love with the progress, with the process, because when you fall in love with the process, you will see endless progress because you will continue to get better and better and better and better. So fall in love with the process right now, dude. Fall in love with the process. And so for the training, we've got to lock in training, dude. Our training isn't just about lifting. It's about building structure, intensity, and control so that our body actually adapts faster. Like, just think about our ancestors, dude. They would have to hunt things every day. So they would have to go out and run. Maybe they're hunting, a mammoth today. Maybe they're hunting a dinosaur the next day. Maybe they're hunting like a wolf the next day or a deer the next day. They have to adapt to what they were hunting because that's what we were built for. Our bodies were built for adaptation. And so, with training 5 to 6 days a week with intention, that means, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does intention mean? Intention means we have a set plan. That means we're not going in and we're not saying, oh, well, I see the dumbbells are open or I see the bench press is open. So I'm going to go do a bench press, or, oh, that girl just finished her squats. So I low key haven't hit legs in like 3 weeks. So I'm going to go do squats. Like, no, we are going in with a set plan. So every session should have a purpose. That means either we're training for strength, we're training for hypertrophy, or we're training for recovery. That means no wasted reps. We are not going to be wasting reps in the gym. And then we're also going to balance our heavy lifts with high volume training. So that means we're going to be doing strength training. I mean, to get stronger, we have to train strength. We're not just going to get stronger by, lifting the 5 pounds every day. We're going to have to increase that. And so this will help us grow denser, more aesthetic, more powerful muscles that look more powerful and actually perform more powerful. This isn't just like the guy that's like 110 pounds soaking wet that you see with abs, because he didn't work for those abs, bro. Like, he's not actually strong. He just has no fat on his body because he doesn't eat. So honestly, if you want that to be you, again, click off the video, bro. I just gave you how to get abs. I just gave you how to look like get abs, and you know what I'm saying. If you don't actually want to be strong and you just want abs, click off the video, bro. Because all you got to do is stop eating, bro. Just go eat some grass, bro. It's in your backyard. It's in your backyard, bro. Like, literally, just go eat some grass. You'll lose that fat, or don't eat at all. You'll lose that fat. Drink water. You'll lose that fat, and then you'll have abs. But when grandma, when your wife, when your girlfriend, when your sister asks you to pick up that 50-pound box because they're moving into a new apartment, they're moving to a new house, and you can't pick it up because your abs are for show, your muscles aren't real, your muscles don't actually work, they're just there because you don't eat, you don't train. How are you going to feel? You're not going to feel like a man. You're going to feel like less of a man. And so we are lifting heavy, and we are training for high volume, you know what I'm saying, if you want to get strong, if that's the type of man that you want to be, a strong, confident, man. And so, with that being said, we have to push every set till failure. Not till failure, sorry. We have to push every set close to failure. That's the key word. People always go till failure, but we want to get close to failure. We do not have to actually hit that failure. We just want to get as close as possible, because this is where change happens, in that uncomfortable zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you can constantly get better. You can consistently get better when you're comfortable being uncomfortable. That's why people who, make a lot of money or look really good, they're always doing some like crazy new ventures, bro. The first guy that ever made 1 million, he didn't stop at 1 million. He took a new venture to get to that billion. Like, he did some crazy stuff, some out of the box thinking to get to a new level. And so that's why we're going to be training close to failure, and we're also going to have to master progressive overload. I really want you guys to master this concept called progressive overload, and that's where we train a little bit heavier than we can train. So if your max bench press is 225, then we're going to try to do like 80% of that, and we're going to try to do that for a couple of reps. And then usually on these progressive overload days, it's very good to have a spotter with you. Obviously, if you don't have a spotter with you, train safely and get, like I said, get close to failure, but don't actually fail. Get really close to that failure, and that's going to be us progressively overloading. And so the way we do that without actually failing is week after week, we lift a little bit heavier, we move a little bit better, we feel a little bit stronger. And this actually creates something called a positive feedback loop. And so, what's a positive feedback loop, you ask? Write this down because it's important. A positive feedback loop is something that reinforces positive habits. So, say for instance, on Monday, you hit 225. You're happy about it. Yay, I hit 225. This is motivating you to go and hit 235 next Monday. Next Monday, you hit 235. Yay! This is motivating you to go and hit 245 next week. You see how it's a loop? Because when you do something good, it's like, yes, I did that. When you hit a new accomplishment, it's like, yes, I did that. When you add 5 pounds, it's like, yes, I did that. When you make 10 more dollars than you usually make, it's like, yes, I did that. You know what I'm saying? When you get 2 more clients than you usually get, it's like, yes, I did that. So you getting these positive reactions, will create a positive feedback loop, and that's super good for your training. That's super good overall. You should honestly try to instill that in more areas than just your training. You should try to instill that in your nutrition as well. Like, oh, I ate the right thing today. Yes, I look good in the mirror, so I'm going to eat the right thing. I'm going to eat the right thing again tomorrow. Oh, I look good in the mirror. Yes, I'm going to eat the right thing again tomorrow. You can instill this positive feedback loop into multiple areas of your life, honestly. And so the second phase, rewiring your mindset. You have to rewire your mindset because, again, your brain controls your body. So we got to rewire the mindset. And to do that, we've got to kill the victim mentality. through our mental conditioning, through the mental conditioning that you're going to do, you have to kill the victim mentality. And it's like David Goggins says, bro, no one's coming to save you, bro. Like, it's on you. Like, I understand we all grow up in different situations. Like, me personally, dude, I grew up in a low income household with a single mother. You know what I'm saying? My dad wasn't around all the time. But again, I don't live in that mindset. I don't live in that I grew up like that with low income single mother. I live in the mindset that I'm him. I live in the mindset that I'm jacked, I'm confident, I'm disciplined, I'm consistent. You know what I'm saying? I live in that mindset because that's who I am. So that victim died a long time ago. That dude that was like, "Oh, the system isn't fair. Life isn't fair. I don't have to read." That's dead. You know what I'm saying? That's dead because as a grown man, and you should be a grown man if you're watching this. You know what I'm saying? Or you should be a grown individual if you're watching this. As a grown up, you can't be a victim, bro. You're too old to be playing victim. Life, like, your life is in your hands, so take control of it. And we have to understand that discipline should be put above motivation. Again, motivation is needed every here and there when we hit a rut, when we hit a stop. But motivation should not be our go-to. Motivation should not be our base. Discipline should be our base because you shouldn't be waiting to feel ready. You should move regardless. You shouldn't have to wait to feel froggy to jump. You should just jump and land on your feet. And if you jump and you don't land on your feet, then you should pick yourself up and try again and then jump and land on your feet because you tried it already. And now you know what to do because you've tried that. You know, you failed and now you're going to succeed. And so, leading on to that, structure equals control, dude. The more predictable your actions are, the stronger your focus will be. If you have set goals and you have a structure to your life and your days, you can focus on what you know needs to get done, not contemplating what should or what shouldn't get done. You will be locked in focus, tunnel vision on what the goals are and what you need to succeed on. And then next, we've also got to detach from emotion, dude. That comes with being locked in. Like, the best decisions come from clarity, not chaos. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you get into a fight with, say, your wife or your girlfriend, or something goes wrong, you shouldn't let your emotions take control of you. You shouldn't get into a fight and then say, "Oh, I'm so sad. I'm gonna go like cuddle up in like my weighted blanket and my snuggle buddy, and I'm not gonna go to the gym today. I'm gonna like eat a bowl of ice cream and be sad." In reality, you should use that argument to fuel your fire to go to the gym and get an even better workout in. That's what you should do. But if you can't do that, you still go to the gym because you're consistent, because you're disciplined, because you're confident in yourself that you're going to show up. Just like LeBron James shows up every night to that basketball court, you're going to show up to that gym every night because you're not letting your emotions distract you, because you're detached from those, because you have a clear mind and you're focused on your goals and your tasks. And so, that being said, repetition rewires you, dude. Every day you show up, you're teaching your brain who's in charge. Now, if you guys like found me from Instagram or know me from Instagram or know me, you know that I studied neuroscience and psych in school. You know that. So I'm going to get a little bit neurosciencey here, but in your brain you have synaptic connections, and those are the things that, you build through consistency. The more you do something, the more connections you build, the stronger the connections get. And when you have connections, you know what I'm saying? That just teaches your body, that teaches your brain what is the right way to do things. So if you have that disciplined habit of, always sleeping in, you're building those synaptic connections to continue to sleep in. You're building those bonds to continue to sleep in. Versus, like, if you have that connection that you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and you're going to make your bed, like, that will be a strong paved road. If you continue to do it, you'll pave that road. Versus if you do it one day, like, it doesn't connect after one day. You do it 2 days, it gets a little closer. 3 days, a little closer. You do that stuff for a month, bro. That road is built. Those connections are connected, and that is a part of you. That's a part of your life, dude. So, you know, just make those connections, practice repetitions, because again, every day you show up, you're teaching your brain who's in charge. You're in charge, not your emotions, not your body, not your brain. It's all one thing, and you have to be in charge of the whole system. You have to be in charge of the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. All three, you got to be in charge of it. So again, take control of your mind and your body will follow, and so will your spirit. And so next, we've got to work on our habits and control, because you've got to master your environment, or your environment will master you. I think the most important thing here is, again, we got to be consistent, and we've got to lock in our routines. We've got to do things like wake up at the same time, train at the same time, eat at the same time, and recover at the same time. And when I say the same time, this doesn't have to be the same time every single day, but this should be consistent on a weekly basis. Because when you remove, when you don't have the same things that you do on a weekly basis, that introduces something called decision fatigue. And I'll explain decision fatigue if you don't know what it is. But basically, decision fatigue is a phenomenon that occurs when individuals make worse decisions as time goes on. And this really explains why individuals tend to feel overwhelmed when they have too many decisions to make at once. So, an example of this is, say, you have to work out, you have to, make a meal, you have to see your girlfriend, and then you also know that you have to go to work. If you wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. and you don't have a set plan, you're like, okay, I know I have to go to the gym. I know I have to make something to eat. I know I have to see my girlfriend. I know I have to go to work. But then it's like, dang, I don't know when I'm going to do all this stuff. So you just like say, okay, dang, I really need to eat. So I'm going to make my food. Oh, my girlfriend's calling. I really have to see my girlfriend. And boom, now it's time to go to work. So you have to go to work. And what did you leave out? Working out. You didn't work out because you didn't have a set plan, and you had to focus on three things instead of the four things. But if you have a set plan, a locked in routine, boom, you wake up at 7, boom, you go to the gym at 8, boom, when you get back from the gym at 8, you make your meal at 10, boom, you go to work after that at 12, and boom, when you get off of work, you see your girlfriend at 7. Boom, you did all those things because you didn't have to think about it. You just had a set routine. So you just were going to go do it anyway. You didn't have to think like, oh, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? You just went and did it because you had a set routine. You were locked in. The next important thing about our habits and getting in control is we've got to protect our energy, man. So what does that mean? You guessed it. We've got to eliminate toxic people. We've got to eliminate toxic connections. We've got to eliminate dopamine traps, dude. We have to get rid of all of these empty distractions, because we need to simplify everything. Because less noise equals more clarity equals faster results. The less noise, the more focused we can be on getting our results, the more honed in we can be. And then we also need to reward consistency, not comfort. So again, you don't need perfect days. You just need disciplined days. And the way we reward that is, giving ourselves little prizes here and there. Say if we've been consistent for the whole month, we went to the gym 5 days out of the week, every week, because that's what we're supposed to do. We see a pair of sunglasses that we like. Let's go buy those sunglasses. Why? Because we deserve those sunglasses. Or even like, maybe a cheat meal, but obviously you should plan that into your nutrition plan. Say on one day, you can, not eat as much at this point, but then eat a bigger meal or go out to eat, because you were consistent for the whole month. You deserve to go out to eat. You deserve to reward yourself. You deserve to splurge. And what this will do, what giving yourself rewards will do, will also enforce that positive feedback loop, like I told you earlier. So boom, you were consistent and you get a reward. So now that you got that reward, you're like, ooh, I got that from being consistent. I think I want another reward. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be consistent, and then boom, I'm going to get another reward. Oh, I got another reward. I think I'm going to be more consistent. So you keep on getting consistent, and you keep on giving yourself rewards for being consistent, not for being perfect, but for being consistent, for showing up for yourself, for doing the right thing, even when things get hard. And so that leads to the next point of stacking habits, dude. Momentum compounds, dude. Small wins build unstoppable confidence. And so this is a reference to like investing. Like if you're in investing, you know about the S&P 500 and things like that. And so you know about compound interest, dude. You know about time in the market beats timing the market. I'll say that again. Time in the market beats timing the market, because there's never really a perfect time to jump in. There's never really a perfect time to invest. But when you stay in the market, your money grows because of interest. It just grows because, again, you're stacking the money, you're stacking the habits, you're stacking the habits. In the small wins that you make, that the small wins that you're getting, they build up into grand big wins. And so When your habits align with your goals, self control becomes effortless. And I really love this picture here. Like it shows this healthy lifestyle helps us stop these temptations because we have such a healthy lifestyle. We have such good control. We can block out the temptations, and that will lead us to being even healthier because we're not doing those temptations. We don't have those bad habits. We're only focused on the healthy lifestyle and the good stuff. And so the third and final phase is we're going to rise into control. Yup, we're getting there. We're going to rise into control. And this is where we optimize you. This is, this isn't about effort anymore. This is about embodiment. You know, you've rebuilt, you've rewired, and now you rise into the man you're meant to be. Now you rise into that strong, confident, shredded, jacked person by fine tuning your body and your mind so they operate at their absolute peak always. And so, how do you do this? You do this by living with purpose and with intensity, dude. Now, because you've built that foundation and you've conditioned your mind, your physical and your mental are strong, you know, now every action should reflect that because you're that man now. Like that's you. You're him. You're not faking until you making it. You made it. You are the product of what you've made, you know? And you should lead your life with confidence. Live your life with confidence. Lead it with confidence. Everything you do should be have confidence. You should see the confidence in your life because again, you're not pretending anymore. You're not faking until you make it. You've made it. You've earned that if you've done the first two steps correctly. You have earned that. You have become that man. You have become that dude. And now you just let your discipline define you, dude. The same habits that you built your body on, those now shape your character. And so now the goal is just to live in alignment where all your thoughts, all your action, and all your energy, they all work as one. Again, physical, mental, spiritual, they're all together, making you the best version of yourself, making you the man that you know you are, making you the man that you know you can be. And so, dude, I'll honestly say this system didn't just change my body. Like this system changed my life. Like I stopped chasing motivation. I started building my identity. I found direction. I found purpose, and I found a version of myself that I'm proud of, dude. I'm proud of myself. And if you do this, you'll be proud of yourself too, man. Because can't nobody take that away from me, and won't nobody be able to take that away from you, because I live with confidence. Again, not because I'm faking until I make it, because I've made it, dude. I've earned it. I've earned it through the discipline, through the consistency, and through the control. And nobody can take that away from me. And nobody will be able to take that away from you if you earn it. If you are confident, if you are consistent, if you put the work in, no one can take that work that you put in away from you. And so now that you understand how my method works, I have an offer for you. If you're someone who's low on confidence and tired of second guessing yourself, unhappy with the way you look, or unsatisfied with the way you feel in your own skin, stuck in cycles of progress and burnout with no structure or direction, and you're ready to finally look strong, feel confident, and take control of your life. You're committed to mastering your body and your mindset. You're done settling for average because you know there's more for you. And you're ready to become more. You're ready to become that best version of yourself. You're ready to become that man you knew you're meant to be. And you're ready to shred fat, gain muscle, and move through life with unshakable confidence. Then, if that's you, go ahead and click the link in my bio and book a call with me. And I'll help you figure out the perfect plan for you. How you can get jacked, how you can lose that fat, how you can build that muscles and become a strong man mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So again, if you're ready to take that step, book that call with me because what's stopping you now? You know the plan, you know how to do it. All you need is to put that structure into place so you can become that person, so you can become that man that you know you're meant to be. And with that, man, hit me up, book that call, and we'll get you leveled up ASAP. Peace and love.